Okay, this is the first hot tub special for the season 31. So I thought I'd invite a few of the balanced, moderate, PC-friendly posters from the SFA to kick it off, because obviously there's a little bit of stuff going on out there, and I wanted to voice a reason. So, in the tub, welcome, Metalcruisher. How are you, Metal?
G'day, Turbo. How you going, mate?
I'm going right. I'm going right, buddy. I would have appreciated if you had got some of that dust off yourself before you jumped in the tub, but that's all right. Not a problem. Also,
that's what the tub's for, mate.
Yeah, no, well, actually, it's not. And I've got some of that chemical in here too. So when you piss, it's going to go bright purple. I actually forget about it. See that purple around you? Yeah. Anyway, forget about you.
Love it.
And Blue all through, or pull through as he likes to be called. How are you?
G'day, Crush. How are you, mate?
Crush, it's Turbo talking.
Oh, sorry, Cobber.
Fuck him off. This is my tub.
and just to add, Turbo, the tub's not big enough, mate.
Well, it used to be, but not till I got you big fucking barge asses in here. Oh, and here we go. And talking about good guest, Pugsley, for your second time in the tub. How are you?
I'm not bad. How are you, mate?
I'm doing all right. I finally got all the fucking hair out of the filter from you being in here last time. So we're pretty good. So we've got a good crew fucking lined up. Now, Crushy, how are the Bears travelling at the moment?
Yeah, we're doing well up until this week, mate. We got absolutely pounded by the Dragons.
By the Dragons? That must be embarrassing.
Yeah, it was, mate. I got dragged at quarter time, didn't come back onto the third quarter.
Ah, fuck. I've noticed that. They're doing a lot of interchanging these days. I've not been impressed with that. Righto, Bat. I've noticed you've ended the
women of the sim, mate.
Yeah. Bat, you've ended the media zone with your Bat's bar test, but
Yes,
you've only
mate.
stopped at 2 guests, and I was really enjoying it. What's going on? Are you going to go again, or is it over?
There'll be another one next week, mate, and then hopefully, if people enjoy it, then we'll continue it, mate. And at the moment, there's a lot of good feeling out there. A lot of people are saying, "Bat, you're onto something brilliant."
Oh, I love it. Has Barry Brand PM'd you yet to say he wants to be on?
Barry hasn't, mate, and I actually in one thread he did ask maybe could he, and I said, well, maybe later. You know, I've got other people that I've got lined up. You know, this week, just for everyone out there, it's a big scoop that you're all getting. I'm getting the fridge in, who I think should be the captain of the Gumbies anyway.
I like it. Bess will be happy about that. Righto, Pugsley.
Hello.
143 DT last week. What the hell is Antonio putting in your bowl?
And down to 55 this week because the pug hates rain.
55? Fuck.
Yeah, what a come down. Jump all over me, SFA.
The highs and lows. All right. Now, as I said at the start of the show, I've invited a bunch of balanced, moderated posters from the SFA so we can have some serious conversation about where the SFA is going. There's been a little bit of argy-bargy and a bit of, finger pointing and bans being placed in. I mean, I'm missing out on 2 games next week. Last week, Tiff absolutely bamboozed the way the Furies posted. So I thought, well, we need some direction. The Furies need it. The SFA needs it. We need people to talk about what's going on now. Team sheet violations. Do you think they're getting a bit silly with that?
I'll say for one thing, mate. Definitely. I think honestly, if you're making little clerical errors with certain things, with benches and stuff like that, I think we need to get a grip as an organisation, as a league, and we need to say, listen, there's some things that we can just let it wash over. We don't need to be that fucking politically correct on everything.
So do you think the fact that my hyphens a couple of weeks ago, they got mentioned because they were different sizes, that shouldn't be an issue?
Oh, 100%, you know.
All right. Now, I got done because I moved 2 players on the bench around, and apparently there's a left and right bench. Do you think that's real? Because I've never seen anywhere it says right and left bench.
That's a bit unfair.
I would have thought so.
Crushy, what do you reckon, mate?
Do any
Shit, mate.
Do any of you guys put team sheets in?
No.
Okay.
I haven't reached
Nah.
those dizzy heights yet.
I'd get a 26-week suspension if I put a team shit in.
Well, I'm working on mine. I'm getting there. Now, direction the SFA is going with the improved culture and you people being, cultural ambassadors. What do we think? Do we think, do you think season 31 is significantly different to 30 in the way we're being directed under the regime of natural disaster?
Yes.
100%.
Right. What do you think?
I think I sanitize my hands when I go into work and I sanitize my hands when I'm posting on the SFA.
Oh, you boys have been a little bit quiet on this. I mean,
no, well, look, I'll add to that, but Pugs, that's perfectly said, mate. I'll just say that season 30, I'm only a sophomore. This is my second year in the SFA. Season 30 was my first year in the SFA. I've probably, unfortunately, I've probably missed most of the good times from when I talked to the older chaps that have been around a bit. Back then, it was open slather. You could have a crack. Everyone understood that what went on in the game thread stayed in the game thread. You don't take it seriously. Nowadays, we've got a bunch of people, and I'm not saying it's everyone, I'm just saying that there's a certain amount of people out there and some new people from higher up that have joined this year that don't want to let us behave that way. And now everyone's got to change, and I don't like that.
So, were they good times though? Because I know if you look back in threads, you'll find that they were bitching and arguing about players then and banning people, and people were bloody melting their accounts. Were they?
Turbo. I joined in season 21, the peak of Harrow lad. If I posted the way I did back in season 21 to now, I would be banned, lifelong ban.
So it is different.
It is different.
From my point of view, yes.
But is it different as in different to the culture we're currently going through worldwide, or is it the SFA getting stricter?
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. I'm probably dominating at the moment this show, but I think you're onto something there. I think, look, the world's growing up. The world's becoming a different place. The world's becoming a different place. But I do believe that the SFA was, from my point of view, it was the last bastion of freedom where you could come in, you could have a crack, have a real laugh, say what you wanted to say, and no one got upset about it, and you just moved on. No one's on there to make enemies. We all just want to have fun.
Now, and I get with that. So we're a fantasy league, but what's going on is we're being disciplined with real world standards. So is the problem that posters go the man and not the avatar? Like is that what's going on at the moment and people don't like it, and so therefore they're knocking it back?
Crushy, you step in, mate. You say
So,
something.
okay, so what I reckon the last year that we've had through COVID and stuff, I think a lot of people have had some pretty hard times in life, and I think the line between your persona and the real person has blurred a bit, especially the last 12 months in the SFA. So I think that's been a bit of a hurdle to overcome. Back to this being a fantasy football league, it's still overarched by a commercial entity, and that's the chief running his business. So, he's got to put his food in his bread basket first before the wants and whims of us as members of Big Footy. I don't know. What's everyone's thoughts on that?
No, I like that. I think if you're on a couple of things there is one thing COVID's done is in the fantasy league, COVID came into it, but then it started to bring more real life of your persona into the fantasy league because
Absolutely.
People were missing, their postings were different because of real life issues. So absolutely, Crushy, that's very insightful. And I also agree with you, business, when the AdSense police came in, because, there's brands, there's payments and all that, that obviously came through. I mean, I got locked up for a number of weeks during that phase, and that's still with us. So, yeah, I love that. What about you, Pugs? You're a bloke who pushes boundaries. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that totally. I've always liked to push the pen But one day I'm going to, excuse me, push it too far. But I've been doing it since season 21. But I've sort of reined it in since season 30 odd. I'm a lot more calm in terms of the way I post. But apparently I had someone that caught me, they caught me hook, line and sinker. I was laughing at their post. Didn't make me angry. No one makes me angry with their posts. I laugh because I know I irritate people, and that's my persona. I'm an annoying little ankle-biting pug.
Oh, you're not totally.
Sorry, can I jump in here, mate? I've just opened the stubby. Sorry, just got a sore throat. Can I just say that just for this week, for instance, okay, I understand this is where the rules of, everyone's starting to feel the effect of the changes. Now, certain players in my team were banned this week. Some possibly there was cause for it. But I think, do we all feel here that when a poster says boo, boo in the direction that he thinks the league's going, is that worthy of a day off, guys? I mean, fucking seriously.
It's a crock of shit, mate. What happened to Linny? Yeah, I understand that they've drawn a line in the sand for mod bashing, and that's not what it's about. You said at the start of the show, Turbo, that we're here to provide the voice and that, and I agree there's got to be a line. If you're going to do that line, now Kofi got absolutely hammered because of outstanding points. Because of his posting history and his track record, if you're going to draw a big line in the sand, and Chief won't agree with this, he'll say that that's his posting history, ergo we take that into account, and fair enough. But for the last, I joined in season 28, season 31 now, it's been a reasonably lenient board to post in. With a lot of the time, ND, a lot of you might like this, but he'll generally give you a tap on the shoulder and say, hey, pull your head in, rather than just come out and bang you straight away. It's generally, from my personal experience, it's only been the times where I've just ignored that advice and just kept going and going and going,
Yeah.
where I've copped the ban hammer. And I don't think that's unreasonable. But for someone like Kof, he's been around a while now, but if you're going to draw a line in the sand, I reckon, I don't know if he was warned or he wasn't, if he was PM'd or whatever, but there probably should have been a little bit of a reach out to say, hey, mate, you've gone too far. We're trying to do X with this league. Either get on board or fuck off, either one. Yeah. And I don't know if that happened. And I think the mods need to be a little bit more transparent in how they're managing this process through.
That's definitely. Turbo, do you want to add anything there before I keep going?
No, you jump in.
All right. Well, what I perceive, and I've got to talk legally here, what I perceive is happening is that certain posters, I reckon, are getting given a more lenient run than other posters, and it's because of what Crushy touched on. It's because of the said history of those posters. Now, to me personally, if I call you a fuckwit and Crushy calls you a fuckwit, and Crushy's got no points against him, never had a problem in his life, and I have, what I'm getting at here is I might get the day off, but he won't.
I might get just a warning, correct.
But what's wrong with that?
Well, so did you listen to what I said? We both said the same thing, but because the history that I've got is a little bit more, let's say, not flash than others, that I'm obviously judged on my history, not by the post.
But that's the same as criminal law. Like if it's the first offence, they're lenient, and as you be a repeat offender, you get a penalty. People don't go to prison straight away for most offences. It's normally.
But don't bring in real world with me, mate. I'm in the sweet FA, mate. This is fantasy.
So you think then that in the SFA, that if you've got your repeat offender, every time you re-offend, it should just be taken on merit, just on that one event.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what about if you keep doing?
You'd be like a cat with 13 lives.
But what about if you keep like posting nude photos and they tell you to stop it and you don't stop it? Shouldn't you be penalised greater?
Obviously within reason, mate. Come on. What I was saying is that I just think sometimes, and again, Crushy and Puds have touched on it as well, that maybe if there was a few more warnings and a few less days off, and 3 points deducted here and, that's 2 weeks and all that sort of thing. Maybe we'd all adjust a bit easier. But it just seems like the hammer has come down so fucking quickly.
But do you think there's not enough warnings?
I have a question though, Turbo.
Yeah.
With all the goings on, is the Sweet FA trying to become more accommodating to the PC crowd?
Very good question, Pugs.
And if it is, then you've got to look at it and go, so where do the fantasy personas go? Because being a fantasy persona means being larger than real life, which means pushing boundaries and, and living the dream.
100%. And we can't all be the same people. We're all come from different walks of life. We've all got different personas, and that's what makes it unique and great. You don't want to find the fact that there's 10 or 15 that are a little bit antagonistic posters taken out of the league because it suits the other 85% who aren't. You want everyone because we all make it work.
All right, so if we get down to it then, I know with me, with my history, they don't like me posting bondage photos of people being, tickled up naked. And there's a number of things, animals, they don't want me posting pictures of people playing with animals.
Can you stop touching me too, mate?
So there's a number of things that I've been pulled up with and I've accepted and I've, controlled that. But from a PC point of view, what do you see that they're pushing on you lot that you think is unacceptable, that you think is... So I get that some of the things like the imagery I posted were a little bit beyond the,
It's funny you brought that up, Turbo, because Bat will see it. Bat will know what I'm talking about because he's in the same team as me. There was a match that we had, I'm not going to say the team, but a poster was accusing me of being a homophobe. Okay. I know, having played sport in real life with gay men, anything but a homophobe. I don't know where this poster got the idea I was a homophobe. And then I've never mashed the report button, but then he said something about suicide, which, because my partner, her young daughter committed suicide at a young age, I'm like, nah, I'm not accepting that. And I did report it to the powers that be, and it eventually got deleted. I'm like, no, I can't. I can handle banter, but that's crossing a line that I couldn't accept because my partner had a child commit suicide. I'm like, nah, not doing it.
But I think you've touched on a very, very good point, Pugs. You've touched on a good point, and that is what's okay for you, Pug, and what's not okay for you is different. What is okay and not okay for me, vice versa for Turbo and Bat. Yeah, so that's the situation. I don't want to play devil's advocate, but it is a hard role to find out where to draw that line. And quite, you go to the PC routes, but it seems these days there's a lot of people that'll just cry it out for whatever whenever they feel like it's necessary to win a debate, to close it down. And to me, that's just piss ball. If there's a reason behind it and a validity behind it, absolutely, call it out. No issues there. Yeah. But if it's just a shut down debate, then, as I said, just join your local knitting circle and have a Me Too moment or whatever hashtag we're up to at the moment and go there and do that. But if you sanitise the SFA that much, what have we got? You might as well just go back to your club boards, or if you want a bit of antagonism, go to the Bay, have a bit of a rip there. But if you want a team-based community that we've got here, there needs to be ebbs and flows. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fucking perfectly said. Fucking perfectly said.
Bang on. Yeah, it was.
No, you're right. And what you say in fantasy as you're bantering in real life may trigger someone that won't trigger me. If you tell me I'm something, it won't affect me because it's not my real life. And that's when the real life comment reply comes back. That's when it becomes personal. And that's when they mash the button, because it does. And so it comes back to then all of the sort of professional footy players is, how do you maintain your fantasy? How do you not buy in personally? How do you not bite when someone says something that does aggravate you in real life?
Me, I just don't. I'm the boss in my world, mate. I really don't care. If a person doesn't like it, they'll be looking for a new job. It's pretty simple as that. I've got code of conduct rules to go by, but if I harbour a grudge and I need that person gone, they'll be gone out of the business. It's pretty simple.
So do you agree then that when it comes to bantering then, so we're obviously pretty front foot banterers. You know, we don't shy away from a confrontation. So as that, our rules of engagement then we got to look at. Do you agree that when you are bantering with, you know, your opposition, whoever it is, that homophobic slurs are out?
Yeah, 100%.
And all that, and business about disabilities and all that, because that really is a real life jibe.
Yeah, totally agreed. Look, I get that some gifts cross the line, and I understand that the people that have done them, you know, maybe they thought it was fun. I don't think anyone intentionally wanted to hurt anyone. I don't think that's what people come on this forum for, or this league, or whatever we're talking about. But I do think that, you know, those things do cross the line. But what I don't think crosses the line is just genuine humour, where you're just having a dig against each other, okay? And you're trying to get under each other's skin. I'm all for that. For fuck's sake, we're grown men and women. Let's just fucking embrace the SFA and let it fucking mature and be a great force that it is.
And you'll find 9 times out of 10, and the mods probably won't see this, but if a poster goes out of line, say within the team environment, I'll use the Bears for example, you'll get a tap on the shoulder. Like generally Matera 92 for us will be the first to PM you or to pull you up in public in our PM and say, listen, that's not on. So I think you'll find there is quite a bit of self-moderation within the SFA. It's probably not where it needs to be, but I think a lot of things can be calmed down by using that internal club mechanism. If, say for argument's sake, the mod thinks that someone's a bit hot-headed, instead of just giving them the day off for a cool down, which is within their rights, give them that one day off cool down because they've been a bit heated. Reach out to the captain first, give them a right of reply, and say, listen, handle your troops, and give them that responsibility of leadership. I don't know, it's just a thought. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and gents, before someone else jumps in, can I just get a question back at you three? Do we all feel here that the SFA is going soft?
Well, I'll jump in on this. I'm thinking, and this is working what you just asked and what Crushy just said, is I think what's happening is there's a power is sort of getting taken away from players, and I like what Crushy was saying about if a player's stepping out of line, then the captain and the LG should be pulling them in. That's absolutely where it should be. And what's happening at the moment is everyone sits back and is waiting for mods to do it. And mods don't want to, they're not the bloody, they shouldn't be the police of the SFA. So I'm liking what Crushy was saying. Which
and I like that. And I like that too.
So when you say, so going back to what you said about going soft, yeah, I do believe it's going soft, but I think the issue is it's the control's been taken away from us to this sort of moderator group. And that's where the problem is. It should be ours.
And why is it this year, Crush? I mean, sorry, Turbo. Why all of a sudden this year are we having these, you know, these things happening? Why didn't it happen last year or the year before?
It started happening a while ago. It's not. This is not a new.
Yeah, I agree. It hasn't just started happening.
Yeah,
I would say
it's been building up over the last couple of seasons. Yeah.
They've let the inmates run the zoo for a little bit, and it hasn't quite worked out to where the powers that be, like Chief, thought it was going to go. So I understand that they need to do something, but I'm with Blue in a way where there's a reason why Wash has come back as a super mod, and there's a reason why Chief has joined the Dragons. There is a reason.
Yeah,
100%.
But then why don't you guys be mods?
Because
Jesus Christ.
I'll be in jail.
But it's like when people knock politicians, and it's like, well, join a party.
Because I want to see anarchy. I don't think so, Turbo.
And good on your Pugs, anarchy. We're the anarchists.
The first thing I do is hand out beer badges to everyone.
Hey, Blue, what do I play a lot on Friday night when we have Kilroy doing his music? I always play Anarchy in the UK by either the Sex Pistols or by
100%.
That's what it'd be like if I was a mod.
So as much as they hate us, without us, the SFA is just vanilla as shit. They need to have that bloody seesaw effect. It's always about that, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course it is. We touched on it earlier, Turbs, that and you know, and Pugs and Crush have been spot on with it too. Is that you know, there's so many unique individuals in this SFA. And I went, and I just from my point of view, and so that you can all out there hear it, sweet, that I'm not having a personal crack at any of you, but what I'm doing is I'm just niggling everyone and making everyone have fun and pushing buttons and, you know, engaging. And I want everyone to do the same. That's what makes it fun. We're all different people.
The white brigade don't like their buttons.
I'm not a person though.
You're a pug.
You are a beautiful person, Pugs.
And I tell you what, your lipstick's magnificent, Knight. That's what is that? A deep purple? What do you call it?
that's the off lavender.
I love it. All right. Well, thank you very much for being in the tub with us tonight. And I got to admit, I got more of an intelligent conversation from you than I expected. That was terrific. So keep fighting the good fight, guys.
And how come you didn't shout any beers, mate, by the way?
What do you mean shout beers? See that bucket over there all spitting in the piss in? That's the goon bucket. Just dip your fucking cup in there, you dickhead.